Fractional reserve banking is a system of money creation that came out of the Middle Ages. And it was discovered by the gold merchants of Europe, who worked very closely with the military, political, and religious establishment. The basic idea being that you had a precious commodity, gold, and people brought it to you for safekeeping and storage. And so instead of it just sitting there in the vault, they began to write promissory notes on that stored gold, which became money. These pieces of paper began to circulate throughout the medieval and then the Renaissance economy as money, as cash, because you could take it to the gold merchant and cash that in for metallic gold. Now, they soon discovered, though, that they could write promissory notes on that gold far in excess of the actual gold they held in their vaults. Say you had gold that was valued at using U.S. currency, $100. Well, you began to write promissory notes on that that you would spend in circulation for $1,000. So $100 worth of gold created $1,000 worth of paper. That system began to circulate throughout Europe, and the really key turning point came around the year 1500, because up until that time, the church, the Catholic Church in Europe, had outlawed usury. Usury being the charging of a fee for the issuance of paper money, the issuance of a loan in a percentage, so that you had to pay back more than you had borrowed. And as I say, this was against canon law. It was considered a mortal sin until around the year 1500, when the bankers of Germany began to work with the Pope to allow them to issue money at interest. And this whole usury financial reserve system caused the availability of paper money in Europe to explode. And it was fed by the discovery of gold in the Americas that the Spanish brought over, that the English began to get hold of through piracy and other means. And so the gold base grew in Europe, and that allowed a tremendous growth in paper money. And that's what the fortunes of the European banking oligarchy was built on. The whole system is based upon the central government borrowing money, issuing bonds, and those bonds became then the collateral for the creation of the entire banking system that was really privately owned by private investors who held stock in the bank. When Hamilton created the first bank in the United States, he imported this system of money creation based upon the issuance of federal government debt. And that's the system that gradually took over the entire financial system of the United States, to the point where you cannot have a money system unless the federal government goes deeper and deeper into debt. And today that has exploded into a figure in excess of $34 trillion, which is the amount of money the federal government owes to investors, including foreign governments like China, Korea, Japan, European countries, and so on. That's how money is created in the United States. So you have this massive debt pyramid where everyone is in debt at some level to the people who control the system, and the people who control the system are the big bankers, both in the United States and primarily in Europe and other parts of the developed world. But this massive debt-based financial system always creates a requirement to pay back more than has been borrowed. So gradually two things happen. One is all of the money, all of the liquidity flows into the hands of the big bankers and the big financiers. And at the same time, in order to escape that debt burden, Everybody else in society inflates the currency by charging more and more for the products that they sell. So eventually, the monetary system implodes and self-destructs. And that is what we are seeing today.
Our Country, Then and Now, by Richard C. Cook is a 400-year journey through America's history, providing unique snapshots from native dispossession, the U.S. and foreign banker hijacking of the American monetary system, financial scandals, and U.S. wars of expansion and aggression, interspersed with tales from the author's ancestry, from Puritan forebears to fighters in the American Revolutionary War and the Civil War, to Midwest pioneer farmers and their relations with native nations. It's a fascinating read,